Hi, it's Andrew Myers here from the Eureka team. I'm going to show you some of the things you can do with implicit modeling in Eureka 5. So here I have the Thor drill hole set again with a model of the TQ1 zone. As you can see, it's fairly blobby, and what I want to do is use some ellipsoids to control the shape of the surface. Now what's new in Eureka 5 is that you can use other surfaces to define the shape of the ellipsoids you want. So I'll show you how I'm going to do that. So first I'll take a cross section through here, and I'll press slash to go into section view. And I'll hide that model. And we can see the TQ zone running through here. So what I'm going to do is just draw a line through there on the action plane to indicate where the trend of the geology that I think it goes. So I create my line up here, and I'm going to use this mode down here to force myself to always pick on the action plane, so to ignore any other geometry in the view. And so I'll just draw a shape down here, and where we think the geology goes. One more. And go back into normal view, and so that forms part of a trend surface that's in the CAD here. And what I'm going to do is just make a few copies of that. One more, and bring them into the view. And what I'm going to do is use the translate tool up here, freehand, and just move, say, that line up there, kind of about there, just rough at the moment, and another one, we'll move that here, and another one, we'll just move that down to here. I'll turn that off. So what I'm going to do now is convert these lines to ribbons and use them to create an implicit surface. So I select those lines and I go Geomodel, convert to ribbon. And there we have our ribbons in the view. And I can use these ribbons to create an implicit surface using the Geomodel tool itself. So I put the ribbons in here, so that's the data I'm going to model. Now I can be fairly coarse with this. I'll say a 20-meter grid, and OK. And there's a trend surface running through that I'm going to use to control the shape of the data. So now I can use that to create some ellipsoids. So I go Geomodel, create ellipsoid. Now originally in Eureka 4, this was very hard to align, but now it's much easier. So I go to a facet select mode, and I select a facet on this surface, and now my ellipse is aligned to that surface. So I think that defines the trend locally there, and I might put another one down here. Oops, I'll say OK, I want to save one there, and I want to create another one, say up here, like that. So it's a lot easier to position those ellipsoids now. So if I just hide that surface I just created. So now I can take my drill hole data and ellipsoids and create a model. So as before, I create implicit surface using the drill holes. And I'm going to model TQ1 at a 2-meter triangle size. And this time I'm going to use the control data tab and select the two ellipsoids that I just created that were added to the Geomodel container. And that's it. So hit apply or hit OK. Now I don't want to overwrite the existing one. I want to keep that there for comparison. So I'll change the name of this and say this is plus ellipsoids and hit OK. So that goes and creates our model. Solved it. Now it's just surfacing it. And I'll just hide some other data. So you can see we have this changed shape here. And if you compare that to the original, you can see how it's less bulgy. If I go back into slice, I can move that through and you can see that how that ellipsoids have affected that. So the other thing we can do is say, well, I'm not quite happy with it. I want to make some adjustments to those ellipsoids. What I can do is select the ellipsoid and right click, edit. But what I can do now is select all the ellipsoids that I've created. So I do a shift select. And now when I modify one, the others get changed as well. So say I want to make it a little bit thinner, you can see that changed as well. So I've changed my ellipsoids. Now I want to recreate the model. I just say recreate. And everything's as before. We've still got the same ellipsoids chosen. They're the same objects. We've just modified them. So I'm happy to go with that. And I'm going to replace that model. And we'll end up with a surface that's using a different shaped ellipsoid. So you can see that, how that's changed with that result. So that's creating ellipsoids in Eureka, creating trend surfaces to create the ellipsoids, all done with the new implicit modeling. I'll be back later to show you some other things that you can do as well. Thanks.